Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 3 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Morehead City, or really Emerald Isle, as Officer Travis Carroll has been put on paid administrative leave as the post on his personal Facebook account was investigated. Now, town manager Frank Rush today called the officer's post, quote, insensitive and offensive, end quote. It went on to say in a press release, quote, for a sworn law enforcement officer to lack empathy or sympathy for any murder of any individual in a public forum is simply not consistent with our expectations. While it may be an individual's legal right to make such insensitive and offensive statements, the standard is rightfully much higher for a public servant sworn to protect our community, and it is simply not acceptable to the town of Emerald Isle, end quote. Now, Rush says Carroll took the post down when he realized someone had shared it and has apologized to the town. The town manager says they are working to repair damage resulting from the post, trying to restore any lost confidence and trust that it caused. Rush says the town considered more serious disciplinary action, but noted that Carroll has worked as a police officer since 2018, provided high-quality service to the town, and had no prior performance or personal conduct concerns. And now we also want to highlight a swimming advisory that has been issued for portions of Onslow County by the Department of Environmental Quality. They announced that the advisory is for the Intercoastal Waterway at Morris Landing near Holly Ridge. It was issued due to bacteria levels exceeding state water standards. Elevated levels of Enterococci bacteria could increase the risk of developing gastrointestinal illnesses or skin infections in people and pets, according to the news release. Now, the decision was made after samples were taken over the past 2 days. The department said the entire Intercoastal Waterway will not be closed or affected, but signs will be posted within 200 feet of the advised areas. State officials will continue testing the site and remove the signs when levels have decreased below the standards. And now we want to highlight your weather forecast. I know a lot of people are wondering again about the tropics. What is going on with that system near the Caribbean? Right now, again, we are still waiting for clearer data to come in. Over the next 24 hours, I do think our picture and our really the trajectory of the system is going to become a little bit clearer. But for now, we are still waiting on Hurricane Hunter data to get fed back into our really the U.S. models to give us a good idea of where the system is truly heading and what winds are steering it in certain directions. But for now, before we even get to that system, we've got an entire cold front to get through. And before that, we've got even more summertime conditions that we're going to be seeing as we head into tomorrow. So far today, it has certainly felt like we are hanging on to summer. 83 degrees in Morehead City, comes with a south-southwesterly wind at 8 miles an hour. Dew points in the mid-70s makes 83 degrees feel more like 89 degrees. In New Bern, a little bit more cloud cover, but still calling it a mostly sunny day. 86 degrees feels like 92 because of a 72-degree dew point. The humidity has risen throughout eastern North Carolina. Now, we're not seeing the same sort of rain that we had yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, there were some scattered showers and pop-up thunderstorms around the area. Today, not seeing that develop. Now, could that develop over the next few hours? It's certainly a possibility, but one that if it hasn't happened yet, the odds are getting slimmer and slimmer that we will see any pop-up showers and storms for today. Highs right now in the low 90s for many inland areas closer to I-95. Once you get east of Highway 17, though, you're looking at more of the low 80s along the immediate coast and the upper 80s closer to the highway, with kind of the mid 80s mixing in between. Now, just about all of eastern North Carolina, save for a few locations closer to the water, are reporting air temperatures warmer than where we were yesterday. Coming up for tomorrow, we are going to be holding at this upper 80s, low 90s level, thanks to another round of sunshine, but another round of southerly winds coming in at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. The wind speed's not all that impressive right now, but they are doing a great job of bringing up that humidity. You'll note that Goldsboro and Elizabeth City have seen a 12-degree dew point rise over the past 24 hours. Williamston, on the other hand, is 16-degree rise. Now, there are some that are showing a bit of a decrease, but A 1-degree drop in humidity in New Bern and Oriental doesn't really have the same sort of impact that a 12-degree rise in Goldsboro and Elizabeth City certainly does. And right now, dew points across the area really hanging in that summertime level. Those of you, again, registering dew points in the mid to low 60s, enjoy it. The rest of us, again, are struggling with this heat and humidity combo. But again, it's temporary. The cold front will be bringing us relief coming up through next week. Now, I would say, again, if this system would show just a consistent forward movement speed and really push its way all across the east, that would really shorten the time we would have with this higher humidity air. But with that aspect, with increasing the forward movement speed, then you're bringing a better chance of severe storms into the equation. So for right now, we are not really looking at a great opportunity for severe storms. Love being able to say that. But we will be hanging on to that humidity a little bit longer than if that whole front had really raced over the area. There you're seeing it again, set up just off the coast on Friday morning. Well, that's where it's going to stall. It's not really going to move a whole lot after that. And that proximity to our coastline keeps rainfall in the forecast through Saturday and even potentially Sunday. But by Sunday, again, at that point, we're going to be really focused on that area of concern that right now is kind of sitting right between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. It's going to continue to work its way north of the Dominican over the next few days, moving over the Turks and Caicos Islands, over the Bahamas, and that's where it's going to encounter some very warm water. Now, the other system that has, again, the high chance of tropical development over a 48-hour period and a 7-day stretch, that one is sitting further off towards the east. That one on the right-hand side of your screen, while it could impact eastern North Carolina, I think that one is actually going to have more influence over that secondary area of concern that right now has a lower chance of tropical development over the next 48 hours. But if those two systems get too close together, what will happen is those systems will kind of weaken each other as they get closer. You got to remember that those systems both rotate counterclockwise. So as that happens, as they get closer, those winds start to run into each other in between the storms. That creates really atmospheric friction, and that really reduces the efficiency of those tropical systems. And the only way they get stronger is through increasing efficiency. You take that away, you're going to have a system that just kind of falls apart, and you're left with a whole bunch of moisture, some thunderstorms, but certainly nothing that will continue to get stronger and stronger like a tropical storm occasionally does. So that's the look right now with those two systems. It's again one that we'll get a clearer picture of where that area of concern is truly going by the time we get to, I think, tomorrow evening. Again, if I haven't mentioned it yet, do want to highlight that the hurricane hunters, the airplanes that gather a lot of the data through those storms, is going out this afternoon. In fact, I do believe they're probably approaching those storms as we speak, but those again should be returning later on tonight, and models will improve on the trajectory of that system when they do get that upper level wind data. Right now, Hurricane Gabrielle working its way away from North America, moving east at 26 miles an hour with 110 mile per hour sustained winds, gusts up to 130 miles an hour. But again, this is a system that really the only reason why I'm truly bringing it up is because it is the only named system in the Atlantic Basin. I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't at least mention that we have a Category 2 hurricane in the Atlantic. But it's not that system that has our attention. It's the other two systems that, again, are going to be a little bit more impactful for eastern North Carolina by the tail end of the weekend and into the start of next week. But once we get that system either clear of eastern North Carolina or it stays off of our coast and moves north of Cape Hatteras, once that happens, our humidity levels are going to drop again. We are looking at the dew points returning to more of an autumn-like feel by the time we get to next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. Overnight lows returning to the low 60s, even the upper 50s. Again, spell a cool, crisp morning coming up as early as next Tuesday. Well, that's all we have time for today's 3 p.m. News and Weather Update. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day.